We took what our story really truly was, like at the heart, what our values were, and found what is the one thing that we can do to support someone or serve them, and who's the one person that we can offer it to.
Welcome to the Relaunch Podcast. And today is going to be the day that you are going to feel the energy through the waves that you're going to be taking in via this conversation. The energy that is packed in this short episode is going to uplift you, recharge you, energize you. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about Rhonda Swan, a 5-time best-selling author, renowned international speaker, and the esteemed founder and CEO of the Unstoppable Branding Agency, which boasts as the top public relations and branding firm for entrepreneurs by not only Forbes magazine in 2021. She is also the creative mastermind behind Wild Magazine, a luxury magazine catered to women. With an impressive global reach, Rhonda hosts the Rhonda Swan Show, which is broadcast across more than 300 networks worldwide, and co-hosts various TV shows on you name it, it's there. Her exceptional work has been showcased on multiple Times Square billboards, and she's garnered recognition in a reputable publication such as, you name it, Forbes, Entrepreneur, Success, Business Insiders. And Forbes even acknowledged Rhonda as one of their influential women of diversity to watch in 2021. She is the founder of the Wild book series, which I just had the privilege of being one of the authors in. Wild Intuition. And my chapter was all around the angel war sequence. And you're going to have to read it so that you know what we were talking about. But I have to say, so excited. And so let's jump in to the show today. Welcome finally
Here we are.
to the Relaunch Podcast.
We finally did it.
This has been something that, two forces of nature are coming together. And I'll tell you, between your schedule
Oh my God.
and my schedule,
I think we have 12 hours that we were able to make this happen, that we were in the same place.
And literally, it's like 1 minute you're in Cuba, then you're in
London,
Antarctica.
Antarctica.
You are all over. And why is that? And here's the thing, what I want to talk about first and foremost is the most significant relaunch story in your life that has truly shaped Rhonda Swan into the woman, the phenom that you are today.
Yeah, it's a big one, actually. Like you asked me, what's your big relaunch story? And I said, gosh, I've had several, which I think really adds to resilience of who we are and what we can do with ourselves when things go wrong or when we do need to make adjustments. But my biggest one is I was in corporate. I was working for a Fortune 100 company, running $500 million of advertising, pharmaceutical company.
Which company was it?
GlaxoSmithKline Pharmaceuticals.
Okay, yeah.
I don't always say I'm proud of that anymore, considering I know what they do now. However, back then it was a great thing. And I had a really big shift, and many probably of your followers will resonate with this. I went to a meeting at 7 a.m. on a Monday. It was our Monday morning start. And I'm sitting there, and my boss's name was Jane, and she had that perfect bobbed hair where her shoes matched her bag, her perfect blonde bob, and she was very uptight. She wore a Chanel suit every day. And I wanted to be Jane, right? So
you know my middle name is Jane. Hilary Jane.
You're nothing like Jane.
Okay,
well, you might have been before.
Who knows? We're not going to go down that path.
No.
Okay.
So anyway, so I'm sitting in this meeting, and this woman walks in 15 minutes late to the meeting. And Jane that doesn't happen. So everyone, you could tell, like, how dare she do this? And she's like, you're late. And the woman's face started to, shudder. You can see her lip quivering. And she's like, I'm so sorry. This was the first day I dropped my 6-week-old baby at daycare. And, anyone's a mother would go, it's body and, you just drop in like, whoa. And that's what I did.
That's a big
thing, right? And she said, I don't care if, you want to put food in this baby's plate, you will be on time. And I looked at this Jane and I thought,
what a bitch.
What a bitch. Like, are you kidding me? And then I thought to myself, oh, you're going to be that bitch. Right?
If you keep going down this path, it will happen.
Yeah, exactly. And I literally switched that day and I went home and my husband, Brian, I said, hey, Brian, honey, we need to have a talk. I'm going to quit my job. And he's like, you are crazy. You just bought a 5-bedroom house in La Jolla. How are we going to afford this? And I said, I don't care. I'm going to figure it out. Yeah. And so that brought me to searching and looking for other ways to replace my 6-figure income. And at the time, I would never consider typing in work at home mom. Like, I was corporate. I was like, I was 30, I was killing it. But I did. And, something popped up and it was, I started to learn about the digital marketing world. I answered an ad and I spoke to this lady and she said, you need to learn from some of the best. And I started looking and working with Perry Marshall, who wrote the algorithms for Google. And so Perry Marshall, he's like the godfather of Google. He taught me Google Ads. I started taking products from like Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, Jim Rohn, packaging them up and selling them on Google Ads, how to help you make more money, quicker your career, all these things. And I would call these.
How long ago was this? Because this is
I know, this is super aging me. This was in 2003. So this is before any social media.
Doing this that long. That is incredible.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah. So, it worked. I watched actually this documentary with Steve Jobs, right? And it was like, if you don't figure this out, you're in trouble. So I'm like, well, I got to figure it out. Yeah. And Perry Marshall was the number one at the time. And I don't even know how I found him, but I knew he was the right guy. So I was selling these products and I literally called 3,000 leads. Because I made a sales funnel, so this is funny. So can I get like kind of nerdy? Because I get like kind of techie, geeky, nerdy stuff.
I love that about you. I really do. And that's the thing, because you're kind of mixing everything. We're going to talk about how we started working together and all these great things that you've done. But you led when we first talked. You led with kind of the technical and you jumped in right away.
You're like,
and said, did you know that you're doing this and you're not doing that?
And this isn't helping your brand.
And I'm like, I'm a tech girl from Silicon Valley. I don't know about digital marketing stuff. Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's why I do what I do now, because I learned all this back end stuff. And so, just a long story short in there is that I literally built the first funnel. I made $1 million with the sales funnel, and I was taking people from an ad to a website to an 800 number. Because this is in 03 and 04. So this is before, you had any other way digitally to sell people.
You're not going to tell me there's an info commercial here.
No, but there should be, because it was that ridiculous. Like literally I have a picture and I can show you. It is so funny. And I would put these signs out I would drive my Mercedes around and I would put these signs out. CEO income working from home. Don't believe me. Don't call.
That is really good.
I know. And it worked. That was my Google ad and that was my sign. So I would drive around in my Mercedes. So I'd already quit my job, made 6 figures in the first year, retired my husband after, like 18 months, made multiple 6 figures and everything was crushing it. Right. So I was like, yes, I've made it. I've done my thing. And then I started really learning more digitally. However, that was like a big relaunch for me, right? Is to go from corporate to starting a new company online.
But then
the biggest one happens, because we all will have many relaunches, I think, in our lifetime.
Absolutely do.
I was, we were killing it. I was decided that, okay, now it's time for me I'm going to have a baby and I'm going to set this whole family up for the long term, my legacy, and we're going to invest in a lot of properties. Well, we had already been doing properties in California and things were really working well, like from 05 or from 03, then 04 into 05, 06. It was like every property we bought in California, you know what I'm going. You know the train I'm on right now. So every property we're like, oh, $500,000 we made there, we'll buy a new one, put more in this. Well, sure enough, we said, okay, we're going to invest now in a golf course development in Flagstaff, Arizona. It's early starts of 07. It'll be done in 09. Boom, everything's great. We took every dime. Put it in. We just went all in. It was like all chips are in. We pulled from my husband's dad's life insurance policy. We pulled from our IRAs. Everything we had, because we're like, we can't we're golden.
Yeah.
Like we're the golden ones, right? Everything we touch turns to gold. And sure enough, I find out I'm having a baby and life is great. The project is starting. We decide to sign our names off of all of the projects so that the developer could build them, because I was pregnant. Why keep going out to, Arizona? Why keep signing things off? We'll just power of attorney you $26 million homes that my name was on. And sure enough, 60 days before my daughter was born, we get a call from the banks. Hey, it's time to flip over your loans because now you need to start paying on your full mortgage. No. It's still construction. They're not done yet. They're like, well, if they're not done, where's the money? Because they're all out. The developer sucked all the money out of the construction loans.
Oh my God,
and ran.
Rhonda.
And he was fooling us the whole time, making us think things were moving. He would show us stuff that wasn't even real. So here we go. I find out the banks say you are losing everything. Swans, congratulations. You've done a really big investment that has dropped you to nothing. My daughter was born 33 days early. I was a complete stress case.
Oh my God.
I later found out she didn't come early because I was stressed. She came early to save us from the turmoil we were in.
Do you see? I just got.
I know, because if you know my daughter, Hanalei, she's gorgeous and she is a savior. And so I was back now into that next relaunch phase of, okay.
Where do I go
Where do I
from
go?
here? Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
From
and by the
corporate-
way,
yeah.
you're a brand new mom. You're trying
Yeah.
to.
Now I have this tiny baby.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in this $2 million home in La Jolla. I've got 2 Mercedes, Escalades, all the things.
Bills coming in.
Bills are bumping in. In fact, our phones were set on that crazy ringer in case it was one of the bill collectors. So you just be like, mute, because you couldn't even stand it anymore.
And so what'd you do?
Yeah, I mean, we had all of our friends are like, okay, this, first off, the fact that you quit your jobs. My husband's a robotics engineer. I worked for a Fortune 100 company. We were doing really well. And they're like, guys, this is now time. You had your fun. Now you have a baby. Be responsible. Go back and get your jobs.
Go back to the corporate.
Go back to corporate. And I tell you, it was really enticing. However, I remember the day that I had my daughter, and even before, when I met that day, I walked and saw that woman put her baby in daycare. I vowed I'll never put my baby in daycare. I'll be the primary influence in her life, and I'll find a way. And that haunted me. I was like, there's no way I'm doing this to this new baby. I'm not going back to Jane. I'm not going to be the one that is 15 minutes late because I cry in my car.
Yeah.
And we said, no, we already knew how to do it. This digital market thing had been 3 years and it was now climbing, right? Because this is now 07, 08. So we said, we're done. We literally fire sailed everything we owned. You want to talk about leaving your ego at the door? Sister, imagine taking all your beautiful things and dropping them on your front yard and saying,
whatever you want to pay.
take it.
Yeah.
I was selling Bugaboo strollers for $300. I mean, everything. But we felt so free because we were actually back in control.
And where did you end up going?
Well, we sold it all. We left with $12,872.62 to our name, and a vision and a vow to never put my daughter Hanalei in daycare. And she was just 8 months. And November 25th will be our 17-year anniversary that we left the USA, never went back. And now we've built a multiple 8-figure company on the road with that vision and that vow and the same skills that I learned from the very start from Perry Marshall, how to create a brand online, how to inspire people with your story. Because right when we left, that's when YouTube, Facebook, social media started in late 08.
You know what? You always will find a way.
Yeah.
That is really all about who you are down deep. Okay, 12,000 plus. You're leaving the US.
Yeah.
You got your daughter, your husband, and you're all in for digital.
We're all chips in at this point. Everyone was like, "You're insane." I mean, all of our friends are huge corporate executives, right?
Yeah.
CFO of Rip Curl, like big time executives.
Yeah.
And here we are. No, the internet. We're gonna do the same with our baby. Look, I can call people and I can make money online and sell them things, right? Like no one believed it.
Right. But you did.
Except for I did.
But you did. Okay, so now we fast forward.
Yeah.
We're in the time machine. We are
Yeah.
now here.
Yeah.
You have all of the knowledge of being able to
Yeah.
look back.
Yep.
Right? And it's that, hindsight 2020.
Yeah.
What have you learned? What would you, if somebody were starting today,
Yeah.
and I have, we have a stagehand here, helping us out. Just graduated from Brown.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
and he's trying to figure out like, where do
What's
I
the
go
next
from
step?
here? You do this with people.
Yeah.
You take them from virtually bottom and you grow them into their own
our motto is
their
we
own
turn
brand.
best kept secrets into world renowned brands.
Okay.
So
what would you do if you had to? You know how Grant Cardone went out there and he was, he was in a show, he had nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, Rhonda Swan, nothing.
Yeah.
What would you do today?
It's interesting you say that because I actually wrote a chapter.
It's interesting because there's going to be there's actually a show.
There's a show coming. No, but I wrote a chapter in Russell Brunson's book, and he said, I want you to be in the book. However, do you have your 30-day, you have no list, you have all you know is your knowledge, you have no people that can help you. What would you do? And I was like, well, I did it. And so I wrote exactly what we did in his chapter. And that is, we took what our story really truly was, like at the heart, what our values were, and found what is the one thing that we can do to support someone or serve them, and who's the one person that we can offer it to. That's it.
Okay, what I'm hearing
Unilateral.
is the one narrow.
Path.
And what at that time was the one person and the one thing?
At that time, it was a woman just like me who didn't want to put her baby in daycare. And it was someone that wanted to travel, be with her kids every day. And we utilized social media, video. First it was Facebook, then it became YouTube. And all we did is tell our story. That's all we did. And we told our downfall story, right? Like this is where we were. This is what happened to us. This is where we are now. And if you want it also, we'll show you how.
This is the relaunch journey. This is literally the relaunch effect.
Yeah.
Why did I start it? Same reason.
Yeah.
I knew I had gone through massive
Oracle, right?
Oracle,
Right.
10 years there.
Yeah.
Then starting a whole bunch of other companies, all the ups and downs and health issues and family issues and business issues. And I had this connection. I thought, I am not alone here in people going through relaunches.
Yeah.
So you immediately were like, I'm going to go all in, focus on that. And what did you build up? Because it has morphed.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So initially, this is before anyone was building brands online. And I found that just by us sharing our story, and I was marketing it because I knew how to do Google ads, people were like, who is this unstoppable family, right? First, we branded ourselves. We're like, we are the unstoppable family.
I mean, come on,
right?
what a great name.
Yeah. So my husband's the unstoppable surfer, my daughter's the unstoppable girl, and I was the unstoppable mama. So they were like, who's this persona? And every day, I did a video. Every single day, and uploaded it to Facebook, because that's right when Facebook came out. And so we literally just focused on building people's brands online. How do we do that? We did it first through video. Now it's morphed. Then we started helping them build courses, right? So I've launched about 2,500 brands, courses, and products in the last 10 years. And then taught people certainly how to market themselves. Now, our value ladder of our company was brand image, message, strategy, and then PR, right? It went like this. And however, as much as I loved our clients that we were helping them construct it from the start, we then realized the client we really wanted to work with was one that was already established, and then helping them with their PR and media. So we kind of flipped it on its back, and now we focus on starting clients that are best kept secrets in their space. Like they do really well, they're known in their space, but globally they're not known. And certainly when you search for them online, no one knew who they were. So I took all the techie geeky stuff that I know about Google and digital marketing, and we give everyone what they want, which is the sexy things like Forbes, interviews on certain shows, all of that. But we do all the back end things that they need, which is Google indexing their name, indexing their company, turning Google on to go, whoa, we need to create a Google knowledge panel. We need to let everyone know who these people are. And so that we just merged the two of them together. So that's where we are now. And that's, we've worked with some of the top brands in the world, including yourself. And I'm always kind of like I'm everyone's big cheerleader in the back end, because that's my whole mission. If I can help someone shine like I was able to do for myself and my family and give them that lift, it increases their revenue, right? Their life is better, their visibility is stronger, and they get more stages, they get more interviews, they get more podcasts, they get more, You know
what you did for me? You helped me think bigger. It was like, I came in, I said, I got a book, I got a podcast. And you're like, that's great, but what are you going to do with it? And with everyone writing books these days, and even the articles, that's great, Hilary. We're going to get you here, but what are you going to do with it once it comes out? And your methodology and your way, I remember when I first met you.
I think I was in Japan.
Yes.
You were on your way there and we were already there.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes. And it
I was getting ready to go snowboarding that morning or something.
Yeah, you were you had a braid.
Yes, and my 2 braids.
And your husband, Brian, was there. Your daughter, we were all doing this conference call. And I was like, wow, now this feels so genuine, so authentic. And that's another thing about you.
Yeah.
You're a no bullshit girl. Like what you see is what you get all the time. Now, for me, it was just like instant. Like I just was like, I love this gal. I love it. I love it. Anything that she's working on, I want to work on. But for those that are out there that have self-doubt, they have fears about like, what is this really going to mean for me? They don't understand the value associated with hiring someone that is not only you step into that mentorship role, right? You were like, Hilary, let me just show you what you're missing.
You're missing look like right now.
Yeah, and I help someone understand like how do you help them, and it was super easy, and this is what I really want you to get at is that you don't make it hard. Yeah, it's like, hey, you want to do this? This is my program.
Just say yes, we'll do it. Just say yes, we'll do it. Just say yes. Yeah. Well, imposter syndrome, I think, is probably one of the biggest things that all of us experience. It doesn't matter what level we're at. We'll sit in a space and go, oh, should I be here? Is it me that should be helping these people, right? And that's what I see. And especially in PR and media, right? When I say, hey, you've done enough, we need to make you bigger. The world deserves to see you. And I think that's something that we all struggle with is we're told not to stand out. And so, what we do is we help show our clients their story. So, the clients fill out all their background information and we start creating titles and telling that story, and they read it for the first time and like, oh, that is me.
Is that me? Wow.
Yeah, right?
You're impressive. And you're like, huh.
Yeah, I see that in you, but we don't always see that in ourselves. So I love to be the mirror. It's almost like we're the hologram for our clients because, what we're experiencing in our life right now is how they will also see themselves. So I always have to check myself too. Like, who am I being? Where am I at? Like, am I doing the things? Am I standing out in front? I've been on the road since January 6th. I haven't been home because I'm prepping for the book tour because we have a new book that we're in. And like getting everyone ready, doing interviews, doing TV. Because if I don't do it, they won't do it.
Well, and that's really, you have so much skin in the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And one of the things, as you just said, we are doing this. We are doing it. And from the Wild Intuition book that's coming out next month. And I have a great chapter, the Angel War Sequence, which I love because you came, I had written some, kind of nondescript title that was all about it. It does have to do with Diana Ross and this incredible manifestation story and my tune-in process. But you're like, come on, and you kind of dug a little deeper and said, you are about this, Hilary. Does this represent you? And I'm like,
oh, dang it.
God, I'm going
Get
back.
juicier.
I'm going in there. And I got to tell you, I'm recording it tomorrow in an audio just so I can, really embrace it again. And I think it's perfect timing. And as I was going over it, I'm like, that's what you do for people. You get them to be more than they think. You get them to see those, it's not blind spots, but it's that opportunity that, the true power that is behind each person. So now as you're about to launch this next book and you have these series, you did, what was it? Wild Wealth.
Yeah, Wild. So Wild is Wealth, Intuition, Leadership, Diversity. So Wealth is already launched, Intuition this month, Leadership's next year.
And then Diversity. Is your goal to have like just wild everything? I know you've got, magazine now. You've got, what is Rhonda's vision? I call them scazy goals, scary and crazy goals. What do you really want?
Thanks for asking that because my company, Unstoppable Branding Agency, fulfills on the Wild company, right? And I took what I do in PR and media and said, why don't we write this book called Women Gone Wild, The Feminine Guide to Fearless Living. It came out of a near-death experience. I was literally visited by, a council of women that were like, these are witches, women that have been burned at the stake. Their voices have been suppressed. They're like, we need your voice.
How long ago was that?
This was just 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
Can you give us a little bit?
Yeah. So I launched the very first book and it was just a collaboration book with my clients, just to, let's tell our story. Let's, do some wild things. And it did well. It was Amazon bestseller. And I then went in during COVID, I got infected. My full body went sepsis. And I was in Bali, where I live. Went into the hospital, and I was literally, my whole body was just shaking. And they're like, we have to go emergency. We have to, calm her body down. I had had a surgery that had left a particle in my body, and it got infected. And I almost didn't think I was going to wake up. And it was one of those moments where I was saying goodbye to my daughter and my husband. There was no one in the hospitals. Bali does not have enough antibiotics. Nothing could come in, nothing could go out. People were dying because of infection. And I woke up and I was alive. And I'm American Indian, so I brought my drums. I had my copal, I had my incense, I had all my ceremonial things, and I'm in my braids, and I'm singing, and they thought I was crazy, right? The Balinese are like,
she's about to go.
There's a witch. Yeah, there's a witch in there, right? That's what they really thought. And then all of a sudden it was lucid. It was like these women, these spirits. Yeah. And they were all, like, I can see their faces now. And they said, we want more from you. We need more. We need you to help more women. I'm like, I already do. What are you talking about? And it was like, no, more. And from there, it was like I had this deep download. Okay, you're going to do a book series called Wild. It's going to be redefining the meaning of wealth. Nothing about money. Redefining the meaning of wealth. Intuition, leadership, diversity. Okay. You're going to run a series. You're going to put 80,000 women in a coliseum. At the end of the series, you're going to have Pink. You're going to have Beyonce. You're going to have Christina Aguilera. They're going to be singing. You're going to be the big Tony Robbins of women, right, on stage. And it's sharing that energy and bringing women together, lifting, dropping all the bullshit. Because when I was in corporate, I left a lot of dead sisters, their corpses behind while I grew. Right? I mean, that's just what we were taught to do.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And so became my mission, because especially with my 17-year-old daughter, I'm like, I want her to see that women can work together, that we can do amazing things. We can contribute to the world with our work and not have to be a bitch.
Right. Collaboration and connection.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really where it came from. And now the book is really a bigger passion project for me. I'm turning my company so my company can really work and do its own thing because of our connections. Like, that's why people come to us. They're like, what can I get? I'm like, well, easy, but you're good enough now, let's move it. So that part can work. And now I'm really wanting to build Women Gone Wild. So Wild, and I have a new hot sauce now. I love hot sauce.
You just shared that with us.
I'm so excited.
That is so amazing. You're getting into everything. But when
it's the brand.
But when people are listening right now and they say, all right, whoa, this woman is wild. There's a lot there. How can they start to get into your world?
Yeah. I give a lot of free, most all my content's free. So on Instagram, I give constant amount of content free, educating on PR, media, YouTube. I have tons of videos on YouTube, and just helping support what you need to understand how to build a brand. And then as far as Women Gone Wild is concerned, we also have Instagram, a WGW book page. We are starting a new community called the Wild Tribe, where women from all over can come, just be in the tribe, be part of what we're up to. They can become an author if they like. However, otherwise, it's more of like being in the energy of wild women that are, holding nothing back, totally authentic, working together, building each other up, and, bringing better things to the world.
And you know what I love about you is that with people that you're working with, and people that are just coming in just to explore a little bit, like what's next for them. Yeah. You have this like sense of, here's where I think you need to be. Here's, you two need to collaborate. Yeah. You need to be working together. And one of the things you and I talked about right before this is, collaborating on visibility and helping people really become visible, because I talk about, you got to be invisible first, get to know yourself, so that you can then show up in that true form. Yeah. And there's so much goodness coming your way, everyone. You'll hear it.
That's right. We're gonna create something really fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun. You know what I love about you though? As even we were discussing it, you're like, if it doesn't light you up, you're not doing it. Like, I don't care how little time, more time, much money.
You're like, what about once a week? I'm like,
yeah, you're like, no, that's not my thing. We'll do half a day. And that's what, again, you are you have this conviction of, this is what I will do and this is what I won't do. Well, this has been incredible. You
I know, I
are
love
wonderful.
it.
I get to
Thank
be in New
you.
York with you next month, and we're going to have so much fun there. And I love that we have a little in-person interview today.
Yeah.
Lots of energy.
Kicking
Where
it
can
off.
people, where can they find you? And yes, it'll be in the show notes,
Yeah.
but where can they
Yeah,
find you?
Instagram's the best. Rhonda Swan, that's always the best to find me. Also, we have our book series, wgwbook.com, along with on Instagram as well. And if you just search my name, you'll actually see the work that I do so that you can see what it looks like to have a full visible profile online, leveraging PR and media to do that, including being a published author.
And that's the greatest part,
Yeah.
because you even did a post and shared, here's what we've done with
yeah,
this
yeah,
woman.
yeah.
As it's like building up
Yeah.
Hilary. Here's what we've
Yeah.
done. She's been on Forbes,
Yeah.
Success, Entrepreneur, la, da, 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 all this good stuff. And you also were huge in terms of getting me on the Wake Up Show and starting to be the co-host there. So again, fun for me to have you here.
Yeah, so good.
Exciting to see what we're going to end up doing in the future. And again, everyone, you get to hear these incredible relaunch stories, these journeys that people go on. Don't listen and leave. Let's make sure that you are literally, you've got your relaunch experience in front of you. What's yours? How are you going to change your own perspective on what's happening? And we always say, live now, love now, relaunch now. Relaunch your remarkable. And we'll see you next week. If you like this video and want to get more like it, head over here.